Fashion trends come and go, but this one has been popular since the 1950s, tie-dye. Today, there are many ways tie-dye can be done. This includes using store-bought dye, making your own natural dye, twisting, tying, dunking, and folding. Today, I'm going to be showing you what the preparation is for tie-dye, how to tie-dye, and how to complete your project. Before you begin your project, you'll first want to make sure that you have all the correct supplies. There are many different supplies you will need for tie-dyeing. These supplies you will want to have are some rubber gloves so you don't get dye all over your hands, a fork to help you twist, a white t-shirt or any other kind of white thing that you might want to tie-dye, pillowcases, a bag, sheets, anything like that. You're going to want rubber bands. I would suggest getting a lot because sometimes you need more rubber bands than you think you will. And your dye. And we are using Dunk dye. This is Tulip Dye brand. And you'll just want to make sure whatever dye you choose that you follow the directions on the back how to mix it properly so that that's all good to go. And a Ziploc bag. Most supplies can be found at a local craft store. I know I got mine at Hobby Lobby. I know Michael's has all the supplies, and usually Walmart and Target do as well. So now that we have all our supplies ready, let's begin making our tie-dye. So first you're going to want to lay out your white shirt or whatever it is you're tie-dyeing flat, and you are going to want to take your fork and place it wherever you want the spiral to begin. I'm just going to place it right in the center. And you are going to want to start just twisting the fork around the shirt and just kind of like spaghetti almost. And as you begin twisting it, you'll start to see a spiral form. And if the shirt starts to move when you're twisting it, then just kind of use your hand to twist up the rest around it. And then you're going to want to take your rubber bands and start rubber banding around it. This can get a little tricky as the shirt likes to start to come unspiraled. And it's okay if it's a little messy spiraled. Tie-dye is supposed to be messy, so there's really no wrong way to do it. I usually use about 4 rubber bands to hold it into place. That all rubber banded. And if any pieces are kind of sticking out like that, you can just kind of re-tuck them under the bands if you want, or leave them, it doesn't matter. So you can tell that there is still a spiral right there that you can see pretty well, and same on the back side. You can still see the spiral. So set that down. Next, you're going to want to put on your gloves, so that you don't get the dye all over your hands. Got my gloves on, and if you're doing multiple projects, you might want to get more than one pair of gloves. One pair for each project that you're doing. So now that we've got our gloves on, we are going to begin dunking our fabric, and I'm just using 2 colors today, pink and blue. But you can use 3 or 4, really as many colors as you would like. They will bleed a little more the more colors you use, but that's okay. So I'm just going to dunk about half of it into my blue dye. You can kind of use the rubber bands as a guide, and you are going to want to leave them, the shirt or whatever project you're doing, in there for about 15-20 seconds. Just get it soaked pretty good. And your shirt might absorb some more, like come up and absorb it, but that's okay. So after it's been there for about 15-20 seconds, you can pull it out. And I just kind of let it drip for a little bit because it has excess dye in it, and you can even squeeze some out. Speed up the process a little. And then you are going to flip it over and do the same in your other color. And again, the colors are going to bleed a little bit, but that's okay. So we're going to leave this side in there for 15 to 20 seconds as well. I'd also recommend wearing something that can get messy while you're doing this, some old clothes or something, so that if dye does get on you, that it's not a huge deal. And also, if you're not working on a countertop or something that can easily be wiped off, to lay some plastic down or something to protect it so it doesn't get stained by the dye. So now that that's been in there for a little bit, we'll pull it out and let it drip and kind of wring it out. And then you can redunk it in the colors again, just to make sure that they're getting nice and soaked up, nice and colored. So we'll let that soak for a little bit longer. And then we will bring it out as we did before. And then we will let the other color soak for a little bit. You can kind of see that in the middle it's kind of purple now, which is kind of the neat thing about if you pick colors that mix really well with tie-dye. You can use two colors and kind of end up with a third. So let that soak for a little bit more. And we'll take it out and wring it out again. And you can really hold it in there for as long as you want, or keep putting it back in there for as much as you want, you know, to try and get all the white out or to get a richer color. But that's really as long as you need to do it for. And then you have your project all tie-dyed. So you're going to take your Ziploc bag now, and you are just going to place it in there. You can take off your gloves now if you want. And just try to get all the air out. Close it up. And then you are going to let your shirt or your whatever project you're doing sit for 8 to 24 hours. I think it's usually best to just let it sit overnight, and we will check back on that tomorrow.